Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to this channel. I'm Gift Gustan by name, and if this is your first time stopping by, you are welcome. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you for your support. So today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to achieve a modesty panel in your outfit. Kindly stay tuned. So for this project, I'm going to be using my basic bodice block for kids. I have a well-detailed tutorial on how to draft a basic bodice pattern for kids. So now we don't need this zip part. I'm going to be cutting it off. Like I said, this is the back bodice for kids. So I don't need the zipper part. I'm cutting it off, both the left part and that of the right part. Now, because this is an off-shoulder outfit, from the midpoint of my armhole, I'm going to be taking a straight rule and I'm going to be slashing that out. That upper part will form the yoke. And the midpoint of my armhole is 2.5 inches. And if I'm measuring from my shoulder part, it will be 3 inches. The reason is that we came down by ½ inch for shoulder slants. If you watch my basic bodice pattern for kids, so I'm going to be cutting this out. This is the yoke part. Right now I won't be needing this part, but that doesn't mean you cannot have a modesty panel with an outfit attached with a shoulder. You can have a modesty panel with a full bodice scale. It must not always be off shoulder. So it's just the style, what you want to achieve, what you want, that matters. So this is my yoke part. I won't be throwing it off. I'll be keeping it because I'll be needing it to measure, to rightly calculate for my off shoulder sleeve. I have a well-detailed tutorial on how to achieve an off-shoulder sleeve. It's already on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be dropping the link in this video as well. Next, to determine how much spacing you want at the middle, how much you want to reveal, so that's what I'm going to be doing now. For this tutorial, I'll be using 1.5 inch at the top, and the down I'll be using ½ inch. So by the time I use ½ inch, 1.5 inch on at the top on the left, and I use 1.5 inch at the top on the right, at the end what I'll be having is 3 inches. You cannot use 1.5 inches at the top for left and use 2 inches for the right. No, it doesn't work that way. Whatever you use for the left, that's what you are going to use for the right. My reason for explaining it is because I have both the left and the right part of the back bodice. If it's on fold, I won't be telling you remove 2 inches here, don't do this, don't do that. No, I will just remove 2 inches and it will reflect on the other parts as well. So I've gone ahead to cut out this part because we want to reveal the back, but we are adding modesty panel. So the modesty panel is just to cover up that part we are revealing so that it's not obvious. You won't see the skin, rather you will see a fabric. So I'm also cutting the left part because we have two back bodies, that is the left and the right. So whatever I do in any one, I'll also do the same on the other part. So this is where our loop is going to be, I mean the eyelets. Now this is the same format I'm going to be cutting on my fabric. Now the modesty panel will be on the lining, so only the left part will have a little alteration. The right part will be the same. From this left part, I'm going to be inserting a dart. So from the edge, I'm going to be taking 2 inches and I'm going to draw a straight rule. If you watch my basic pattern for kids, I don't add darts for kids, especially kids that are on an average size. I don't. Only those that are on plus size. The reason why I don't do it is because that's I usually use to reduce excess, any bulging in an outfit, or also to create beauty, to add beauty to it. So, but for this case, I'll be inserting my dart, and that's why I'm slashing it open. Now for this modesty panel, it's what they usually use for brides. So is being inserted in the lining, not the main outfit. It's the lining part. This is what they use for bridal wedding gowns. So the way it is, this is how I'm going to be cutting it on my fabric, that is for the lining. This is how the lining will be. I've gone ahead to cut out the parts I'll be needing on my fabric, and as you can see, the difference, the spacing is 3 inches in width by the time we're going to measure the upper part right there, because we left 1.5 on each side, so we should have 3 inches spacing. So that's what I'm just trying to illustrate right there. While for the down part, since we left 1/2 inch on both sides, making it 1 inch, so this is how it will narrow all the way downwards. So this is how it's going to look as we proceed on. So I've also gone ahead to cut out the lining piece as well for the 2 sides of the back, and that of the right, the lining piece is cut the same way, but that of the left is a bit different. It's different because that is where we're going to be attaching the modesty panel in between it, so that's why it ought to be different. So as you can see, this is the lining piece for that of the left. It's slashed open into 2 from the dart legs, so this is it. And so next I'm going to be showing you how to get your modesty panel, the length. So this is my fabric on fold, and for the width I'll be measuring 7 inches. The reason I'm using 7 inches spacing is that we have 3 inches at the middle, so whatever spacing you are using, you have to impute it in. Then the extra 4 inches, 2 inches on both sides, both the left and the right, I'm using it because I want it to go inwards. Now for the length, I'll be using 10 inches as you can see, and I'll explain why I'm using 10 inches. So this is our lining where the modesty will be sandwiched into, and it's measuring 8 inches. Now the reason I measured 10 inches is that I'm going to be using 1/2 inch on both sides. The part the arrow is indicating, I'm going to be sewing 1/2 inch on both sides, meaning at the end I will arrive at 9 inches. Now I'll be using 9 inches, which is 1 inch longer than my original bodice, because I want it to cover, I want the modesty panel to cover all the way down, even by the time I join the skirt part. I don't want any opening at the down part. So you can also make them the same length, or also make it even shorter. It's all your choice, but I prefer mine longer. Right here, I've gone ahead to add interface to it to give the fabric some structure. Now I'm going to be sandwiching my modesty panel in between the lining of the left part of the bodice. So this modesty panel is the lining, not the main bodice of the left side. It's the lining of the left side of the bodice. I hope you get that clearly. So I'm also starting not from the top, but I'm leaving 1/2 inch, and I'll go ahead to sew it downwards. So this is the main bodice of the back for both the right side and that of the left side. Now I'm going to be lining the right side. As you can see, it's the same thing. Now for the left part, this is the lining. I've attached my modesty panel, and this is the left side, the main bodice. So this is how I'm going to be lining it. I'm going to take this part that has the modesty panel attached to it. Now I'm going to tuck in this modesty panel so it doesn't disturb me, and as you can see, it lines properly. It's now the same shape with the main body. So I'm going to be sealing up the loop area and the neckline. So I'm done with it, and this is how it looks like. So this is the back part, and this is the front side. So this is how it is. And the reason why I said we should add 2 inches on both the left and the right, you are going to understand now. So I'm going to bring the right side of the back, and I'm going to be placing it on top of the modesty panel. So this is it. So we will have our 3 inches spacing in the middle, and that extra 2 inches are going into the left and the back parts of the back bodice. This part I'm illustrating is where I'll be creating my loop. I've done the right part, I'll be doing the left part. What I did was to mark 3/4 inch away from the edge and stitch all the way from the top to the down part. That's what I did to create this channel where the loop will be in. Now this part I'm illustrating and bringing hemigum is still the modesty panel, is just to seal it up so that it has a good finishing at the end. So what I'll be doing now, I'll be marking my loop. Firstly, I'm going to be taking 1/2 inch away because that is where I'll be attaching the skirt, so I don't need my loop all the way down. So I'll be marking that 1/2 inch. That 1/2 inch is used for my attachment of the skirt. So this part is where I'll be attaching my skirt. So now from that point, I'm going to measure what I have left. So I have 6.5. So now I'm going to divide this 6.5 equally and spread the loop so that the loop will be distributed evenly. So I'll be marking 1 inch, and this 1 inch is where I'll be putting my eyelets, and altogether I'll be having 5 eyelets on this bodice. Now I'm not marking all the way to the top part. I'll be leaving 1/2 inch. I don't need an eyelet at the neckline. I don't need it, so I'll be marking 1/2 inch downwards away from the neckline, and I'm going to do the same thing on the left part as well. In order for you to get the strip that will wrap around the eyelet, you have to get a bias, or you can use your satin. This is my satin, measuring in width 1 inch and in length the length you need. So what you're going to do, you're going to fold it at the top the way you see me doing, then fold it by the side and the other side, and then fold it again like this, and then you're going to sew all the way down. And when you get to the end as well, you also fold that tip. So this is how you get your strip. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. If this tutorial has been helpful to you, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are yet to. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.